Burroughs, the president at the time, a bad boy, told me that he smacked his mother.
That video of him and Cassie and what he did to her, I believe it now, man.
Well, yeah, listen.
I love you.
Love you too.
Word on the street suggests that Diddy's mother has finally had it with her son, and it seems she is ready to come out and spill the beans on his shady dealings. So, what exactly is she allegedly going to reveal? In a recent interview, Gene Deal, a former bodyguard for Sean Diddy Combs, shared a disturbing account of Diddy's past behavior, alleging that the music mogul once struck his own mother. Deal's recollection paints a stark picture of Diddy's volatile and abusive tendencies, which he claims extend even to his closest family members. During the interview, Deal recounted an incident involving Diddy, his mother Janice Combs, and Kirk Burroughs, who was the president of Bad Boy Records at the time. According to Deal, Burroughs had previously mentioned that Diddy had slapped his mother.
Bruh, Kirk Burroughs, the president at the time, a bad boy, told me that he smacked his mother.
Deal detailed an unsettling encounter in a limousine parked near Bad Boy Records' first Manhattan office. As Deal, Diddy, and Janice Combs sat in the car, Diddy was engaged in a heated phone conversation. Mid-call, he lashed out at his mother, saying,
He said to his mother, "Yo, didn't I tell you to stay out my MF business?"
Deal, outraged by Diddy's disrespect, confronted him immediately. "I wanted to snatch the shadow off him," Deal recalled, expressing his anger and disbelief. He warned Diddy, "If you ever talk to your mother like that again around me, I'm gonna beat the ish out of you." Deal emphasized that his reaction stemmed not only from his role as Diddy's bodyguard, but also from his principles and upbringing. "As a man and as a person that I am, I'm not going to let him disrespect his mama," Deal stated firmly. He reminded Diddy that without his mother, he wouldn't have a business to speak of.
"But Gene, I told her to stay out of business." Let me just say this to you right now. If she wasn't for her, you wouldn't have no business.
Gene Deal's testimony offers a rare and troubling glimpse into the private life of one of the music industry's biggest names. He argued that Diddy's treatment of his mother is indicative of his broader attitude towards women. Any man that put his hands on his mother or disrespect his mother, he'll be quick to put his hands on a woman like that, Deal asserted, drawing a direct line between Diddy's familial interactions and his relationships with women. This interview sheds new light on the personal history of Sean Combs, suggesting that his public persona might be masking deeper, more troubling behavior patterns, some of which may have been formed during his childhood. You see, ever since Cassie filed her lawsuit, Diddy's whole life has pretty much gone down the drain. He's lost over 18 brand deals. He was kicked off his position as chairman at his own company, Revolt TV. He's now being dragged to court by the company that distributes his alcohol beverage, and the SA lawsuits just keep piling up by the day. It's definitely not going to be long before he wipes his bank account clean to fund all of these court fees and fines he's going to be paying. As if this wasn't bad enough, people have also been looking into his family to try and figure out how Diddy came to be the kind of person that he is. And man, oh man, people found out a whole lot. It looks like Diddy's raging addiction to drugs, these freak-offs, and his actions against people are tied to his childhood trauma. See, Diddy was still a kid when his father passed away, so in order to provide for the family, his mom Janice was working 3 jobs, and allegedly was one of them. "My mother worked 3 jobs, and my grandmother worked 2. At an early age, I started my own paper route." According to the internet, Janice would sometimes bring some of the men that she hooked up with to the house. This is something that she would do often, and Diddy would witness it happen all the time. As if this wasn't already bad enough for an underage kid to be seeing, Janice also allegedly instilled bad morals in Diddy. She emphasized the importance of establishing dominance, a lesson she hammered home to Combs, age 9, when another child stole his money. "My mother wouldn't let me in the house," Combs told Oprah in a 2006 interview. She said, "Go back out there and get that money, and if anyone ever puts their hands on you, make sure they never do it again." She knew the reality. If people smell weakness, they take advantage of you. You have to defend yourself. Janice's lesson may also have aligned with his natural inclinations, though. His future Puffy moniker stemmed from childhood tantrums. "Whenever I got mad as a kid, I used to always huff and puff," Combs told Jet magazine in 1998. "I had a temper. That's why my friends started calling me Puffy." It's also been reported by multiple sources that his father was a gang leader in Harlem. This was confirmed by Complex magazine back in 2013 in an explosive article where they investigated the parents of a lot of popular rappers. The article read, Diddy's dad, Melvin Combs, was a well-known Harlem gangster who had connections to both Frank Lucas and Nicky Barnes. Janice was the boss's ride-or-die chick. After her husband was brutally unalived when Diddy was still a child, she took to raising young Sean on her own. And if you thought this was bad, wait till you hear about Diddy's very weird relationship with his mother. People have actually been speculating for a while now that Diddy and his relationship with his mom go way farther than the regular mother-son relationship. These rumors got even worse after a video went viral of Diddy and Janice passionately kissing each other on the lips.
I love you. Love you too.
This video was so uncomfortable to watch. In fact, one fan commented, "I get having a great mother-son relationship, but something about that exchange was weirdly uncomfortable, like when some mothers use their sons as husbands." A second fan added, "Men who actively engage in unhealthy relationship dynamics with their mother will rarely have healthy romantic relationships with women. They have a limited concept of boundaries and false expectations, especially regarding loyalty and commitment." He said his mother never really dated or had men around after his dad died, and his father died when he was 3. Diddy has been her man for years. All this is creepy, no doubt, but what most people seem to forget is that Diddy's life has been filled with violence. Before any lawsuit, Diddy spent years dodging a history of public displays of violence and hints of alleged criminal activities. Even though the music mogul has been able to shapeshift his image to his liking, his reputation has never been free of controversy. While Combs clearly took his mother's advice to heart, he also mirrored her work ethic. He got his first job at 12, a paper route, then worked at a gas station and a Mexican restaurant, in addition to selling lemonade, he told Forbes. He spent a childhood summer with an Amish family in Pennsylvania through the nonprofit Fresh Air Fund for inner-city kids. And it wasn't long before his mother moved the family from crowded uptown Manhattan to Mount Vernon, a suburb of Westchester County. She enrolled Combs, who was raised Catholic and served as an altar boy, at prestigious Bronx all-boys academy Mount St. Michael, where he wore the neat attire each day, played football, and always wanted to set his sights high. "Just knew I was going to be an NFL pro player," he told the New York Times in 2012. After he broke his leg, though, Combs had to alter his dreams, and it was at Howard that he truly began to flex his muscles of influence and impresario. Combs, by all accounts, began making a name for himself almost immediately after heading south to D.C. to begin his studies at Howard, the historically black university. He arrived at the tail end of the 1980s, when New York-based hip-hop culture was preeminent, and Combs cashed in on that Empire State connection. He wore flashy clothes through parties and began building an entourage. And between classes, he still found time to run a shuttle service to the airport, to allegedly sell old-term papers, and to even hawk t-shirts and sodas. According to Ro Ronin's 2001 book, Bad Boy, The Influence of Sean Puffy Combs on the Music Industry. After protesting students took over an administrative building, he turned newspaper and magazine clips about the incident into poster-sized collages and sold them back to the participants, Ronin wrote. When Puffy came, he was a very flashy guy, the book quotes classmate, friend, and fellow undergrad promoter Derek Angeletti as saying. He was always out at the clubs, and the young girls loved him. He'd be in the middle of the floor doing all the new dances, and his style of dress was a little more colorful, bolder. Everyone took notice of this cool, overconfident young dude. I was DJing at the time, and one night he came up to me and said, "I'd like to throw a party with you. You're pretty popular." The pair began organizing events that Combs successfully lobbied celebrities to attend, while shrewdly including his own name on promotional materials, including the one that would make him famous. On his first business card, in the bottom left-hand corner, he had engraved Sean Puff Combs, Ronin wrote. "For the next 2 years, we threw one damn party near every week," Angeletti says in the book, including a homecoming at a Masonic temple where they expected maybe 1,500. 4,500 people came. The D.C. police shut down the whole block and brought out the dogs. We had to get on our knees and beg them not to lock us up. As Combs' endeavors burgeoned, however, so did his ambition, which soon outgrew the Howard campus. He began lobbying record executives in New York for jobs, but soon lowered the ask to internship, securing one with Uptown Records' Andre Harrell, who famously coined the term ghetto fabulous. Combs initially commuted weekly between college and his hometown, working 80-hour weeks as he literally ran to complete errands for his record superiors, and it wasn't long before he quit Howard altogether. By 1991, Harrell had installed him as an A&R executive, and Combs was forging a reputation for identifying and molding top-tier talent. The New Yorker displayed cross-cultural perspicacity that would become a hallmark and goldmine of his career. He threw weekly racially mixed daddy's house parties for street kids and preppy students from Columbia University and New York University, where he saw what fans were dancing to and wearing, writes Ronan. With the help of his girlfriend, Def Jam intern-turned-stylist Misa Hilton, Combs was dialing into street trends and the youth zeitgeist as he promoted artists such as Jordesi, but one of Combs' trend-setting events featuring the R&B duo took a tragic turn in 1991. Combs had helped set up a charity basketball event at Harlem's City College campus just after Christmas, but 5,000 turned up, and a stampede created a crowd crush in a stairwell, killed 9 and injured around 36 others. No criminal charges were filed, but Combs gave testimony about the tragedy several years later in a lawsuit filed by victims against the college, describing young ladies getting squished and the panic on everybody's face. "City College is something I deal with every day of my life," Combs said outside court in 1998. "But the things that I deal with can in no way measure up to the pain that the families deal with. I just pray for the families and pray for the children who lost their lives every day." Despite the incident, however, Combs' reputation was exploding for positive reasons. His 1992 signing of Brooklyn's Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious Big, proved particularly momentous for both men's trajectories. Uptown's distributor, MCA Records, balked at releasing Biggie's debut album, which featured gritty songs about street life, and Harrell, forced to make a decision, cut Combs loose. "I didn't want to sit there and be the one confining Puff because the corporation was telling me to do that," Harrell, who died 4 years ago, told the Wall Street Journal in 2014. "I'm not built that way. I told Puff he needs to go and create his own opportunity. You're red hot right now. I'm really letting you go so you can get rich." Combs ran with it, creating his own company, Bad Boy Records, and in 1994 releasing Wallace's Ready to Die. His in-house production team was called the Hitmen, but all of those monikers would soon prove horrifyingly prescient amidst the East Coast-West Coast rap feud. Bad Boy and Combs were involved in a rivalry with LA-based Death Row Records, a label founded a few years earlier by Suge Knight, which was riding Tupac Shakur's wave of fame in 1994 when the artist was shot 5 times in New York during a robbery. Shakur claimed and Wallace had prior knowledge of the planned attack. They denied responsibility, but the feud is widely attributed to the unsolved deaths of both the Death Row artist, who was later fatally shot in Las Vegas in 1996, and Wallace, who was killed 6 months later in a Los Angeles drive-by. That night, Combs had left the same party as Biggie in a second car. The feud, the M's, and any potential connections to Diddy remain conspiracy theory fodder to this day. Smack in between both M's, however, Combs released his first single in January 1997 under the name Puff Daddy, followed by his album release that July. It included the Wallace tribute I'll Be Missing You, which sampled The Police and became the first rap single to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Both his personal and professional lives were growing and diversifying exponentially. In 1997, he opened Justin's, his first restaurant in New York, named for the son he and girlfriend Misa Hilton had welcomed 4 years earlier before they split. Combs went on to date model Kim Porter, who gave birth to his second son, Christian, who now goes by King. In 1998, the same year, he launched fashion line Sean John. He was nominated for 5 Grammys that year, and his wealth began snowballing, with Bad Boy generating $130 million. He bought a mansion in the Hamptons that year too, throwing a Labor Day white party which quickly became annual fixture for the rich and sexy. Years later, Paris Hilton, in her trademark bored drawl, remembered the first event with words that echoed those of his college admirers. "It was iconic and everyone was there," she told The Hollywood Reporter. As Diddy established himself as a true business and social force, however, the behavior that earned him his nickname continued to rear its ugly head. In 1999, Combs was arrested on felony charges of criminal mischief after beating up an Interscope Records executive during business hours at the offices of Universal Music, leaving the victim with a broken arm, broken jaw, and head wounds. The rapper pleaded guilty to a lesser harassment violation and was ordered to attend a 1-day class in anger management. It didn't seem to do too much, though. 3 months later, in one of the more serious and high-profile incidents of his career, and that's saying a lot, Combs was involved in a Manhattan nightclub shooting while in the company of none other than Jennifer Lopez, whom he'd begun dating earlier that year. The couple had been celebrating at Times Square Hotspot Club, New York, when another patron allegedly insulted Combs and threatened his protege, rapper Shine. A dispute ensued, shots were fired, and 3 bystanders were injured, including a woman who was shot in the face. Combs fled in a Lincoln Navigator with J-Lo, his bodyguard, and his driver, along with a stolen gun none of them had a license for, as cops found out when they stopped the car. Combs was found not guilty in March 2001 of 4 counts of illegal possession of a gun and 1 count of bribery after a trial that doubled as a media spectacle. Proving what a force the rapper had become, fans turned up at the courthouse for 7 weeks, and workers at the building, upon his acquittal, threw open the windows to chant his name and leave him alone. Combs, who'd been visibly shaking as the verdict was read, publicly thanked God upon his acquittal and reportedly went to church. Seemingly keen to distance himself from the bad boy image, Combs changed his name to P. Diddy just weeks after walking free from court. "When I changed names, I put periods on those eras," he told Vanity Fair in 2021, calling the Puff Daddy era this young, brash, bold hip-hop, unapologetic swagger on a million and just fearlessness. He released the album The Saga Continues in July, but continued pursuing new avenues. He appeared in 2 movies as an actor in 2001, including Monsters Ball, which won Halle Berry an Oscar. He also began producing new artists and pushing into reality television. "I have always worked hard, harder than anyone else," he would later tell Forbes. By 2002, he was bragging about taking his 14th flight on the Concorde and nominated for Menswear Designer of the Year by the Council of Fashion Designers of America. But even his wildly successful Sean Jean was not free from legal issues, weathering Honduran sweatshop allegations the following year. That didn't stop him, however, from performing at the Super Bowl in 2004 or starting the famed Vote or Die campaign around the presidential election. Combs' tentacles remained everywhere. He decided, however, to drop the P from his name. Fans didn't know what to call him, and he was now just Diddy. Kim Porter gave birth to their twins in 2006. 5 months after another longtime friend gave birth to his daughter Chance. Porter called the overlap a betrayal and ended the long-term on-again, off-again relationship she'd had with the mogul. Around the same time, however, Combs was finessing the career of singer Cassandra Ventura, whom he'd signed to his label in 2005, and whose bombshell lawsuit in November alleging R, AB, and ST ficking brought a world of unwanted attention to the rapper's door. The pair met when she was 19 and he was 37, and for years, Cassie was seen as the only woman in his life. The pair's split in 2018, sparking a headline frenzy. Anyway, a recently surfaced security video of when they were together has been making rounds online, and fans are now convinced that Cassie had a valid reason to leave Diddy.
New surveillance footage obtained exclusively by CNN appears to corroborate some of the allegations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
For context, the security video aired by CNN appears to show Sean Diddy Combs attacking singer Cassie in a Los Angeles hotel hallway in 2016, the latest in a months-long series of public allegations and revelations of physical and violence from the hip-hop mogul. The video appears to show Combs, wearing only a white towel, punching and kicking the R&B singer who was his protege and longtime girlfriend at the time. The footage also shows Combs shoving and dragging Cassie and throwing a vase in her direction. The security camera video, dated March 5, 2016, closely resembles the description of an incident at an Intercontinental Hotel in the Century City area of Los Angeles, described in a November lawsuit filed by Cassie, whose legal name is Cassandra Ventura, that alleged years of SA and other violence by Combs. The lawsuit alleges that Combs paid the hotel $50,000 for the security video. CNN did not say how it obtained the video, but noted that it verified the location, comparing it to publicly available images of the Intercontinental Hotel. Cassie's lawsuit was settled the day after it was filed, but spurred intense scrutiny of Combs, with several more lawsuits filed in the following months, along with a federal criminal ST investigation that led authorities to raid Combs' mansions in Los Angeles and Miami. Representatives for Combs did not immediately comment on the video, but he has previously denied the allegations in the lawsuits, and his lawyers have said he denies any wrongdoing and will fight to prove his innocence. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office said it was aware of the disturbing video allegedly depicting Combs assaulting a woman in Los Angeles, but it had not been presented with a case. And even if law enforcement presents a case to the office, the statute of limitations would prevent from charging Combs, the office said in a statement Friday. If the conduct depicted occurred in 2016, unfortunately we would be unable to charge, as the conduct would have occurred beyond the timeline where a crime of assault can the office said. We encourage anyone who has been a victim or witness to a crime to report it to law enforcement or reach out to our office for support from our Bureau of Victim Services, it added. The gut-wrenching video has only further confirmed the disturbing and predatory behavior of Mr. Combs, said Douglas Wigdor, an attorney for Cassie who has filed other lawsuits against Combs. Words cannot express the courage and fortitude that Ms. Ventura has shown in coming forward to bring this to light. According to the lawsuit, Combs earlier in the evening became extremely intoxicated and punched Ventura, giving her a black eye. After he fell asleep, she tried to leave, the suit says. This is apparently where the video begins. Ventura can be seen heading to a bank of elevators with a packed bag. Then Combs awoke and began screaming at her, following her down the hall, the suit said. He violently grabs her and yanks her to the ground, kicks her, and throws vases in her direction in the video. The lawsuit says she managed to get away, but later returned out of fear that she would face greater AB if she didn't. As she returned, hotel staff urged her to go back to her apartment, the suit says. She would flee and hide out with a friend in Florida. The lawsuit alleges Combs paid the hotel $50,000 for the security video. The implications of this video are profound and far-reaching. Firstly, it serves as a stark, undeniable piece of evidence of Diddy's abusive behavior, making it significantly harder for him to evade legal consequences. While accusations of SA had previously surfaced, the presence of a concrete visual account of his violence against Cassie paints a grim picture that is difficult to refute or minimize. In the court of public opinion and the legal arena, this video could be the critical factor that shifts the narrative definitively against him. Moreover, this incident represents a tipping point, both for Diddy's career and his personal freedom. In the past, celebrities with similar accusations have managed to navigate the treacherous waters of scandal through legal maneuvers, settlements, or leveraging their influence. However, the gravity of this visual evidence, coupled with the cumulative weight of ongoing SA allegations, suggests that Diddy might not escape unscathed this time. The release of this video could mark the end of his long-standing ability to elude serious repercussions. It could trigger a cascade of legal actions, including potential jail time. Meanwhile, on Friday, May 17th, 50 Cent hit up Instagram with an immediate response to the incredibly disturbing surveillance video obtained by CNN, which finds Diddy violently assaulting his former girlfriend Cassie. 50, who has been consistently calling out Diddy since the moment Cassie slapped the defamed hip-hop exec with claims of AB and SA in November of 2023, shared a portion of the video along with a caption of what he believes Puff's representatives will have to say about the clip. Now, I'm sure Puffy didn't do it. He is innocent. This proves nothing, 50 Cent sarcastically wrote in the IG post. This is what his lawyers are going to say. God help us all. 50 Cent's reaction was swiftly met with further responses from rappers like DJ Quick and Fifth's longtime friend and fellow G-Unit member Tony Yayo. While Yayo simply replied, "Crazy," Quick referred directly to Diddy's violent actions with, "Meet Caveman." About 1 hour later on Friday, 50 Cent doubled down on his commentary regarding the disturbing assault footage. The lie detector test has determined this was a lie. Maury vibes, 50 wrote, along with a screenshot of the official statement Diddy released back in December of 2023 regarding Cassie's allegations. In any case, the fact that Diddy went through childhood trauma is sad, but does not excuse his behaviors as an adult. In fact, most fans do not even feel sorry for him. One fan commented on this saying, "There are people who have been SA'd in their childhood and they still grow up not be sadistic, psychopath, or narcissistic." Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.